Well, one of my earliest memories was prompted in the museum by the doll with the china face, because I was born after the war had finished and it was very difficult to get hold of toys. And when I was 3, the first thing I really remember was getting this doll with a china face. It had a rag doll body but a china face. Dolly pram. And I was living in Scotland at the time, where I was born, and I was wheeling my dolly along the pavement, and it was a very deep curb, and the pram went over the edge of the curb and bounced in the road, and the dolly fell out and smashed her face, and I was inconsolable because I loved her, and it just wasn't possible for my parents or anybody to be able to replace her because you couldn't get toys.
The 1950s kitchen, a lot of the things in that, because I was born in the 1950s, the washer with the washing ringers on, I'm still marked to this day because my hand and arm went through some washing ringers. My mum had got some new electric ones, and I was putting my younger brother's small socks through, and I saw my fingers start to go through, and I thought I would be able to pull my fingers back. Of course, when I tried to pull my fingers back, I couldn't, and my arm was drawn through, and I ended up in Wigan Infirmary with a very nasty injury. I was very lucky not to do more damage than I did.
The 1950s part of the museum, there's a display cabinet with comics and toys in, and there's a topper, I think it is, comic, and on the top there's one of the little characters that's going to be seen inside, and he's Oor Willie. And Oor Willie is the Scottish version of Dennis the Menace, and that was how I learned to read. My gran had 2 or 3 annuals which came out at Christmas of compilation of the Oor Willie stories, and when I was about, I don't know, 3, 4, something like that, I was read these stories, and they were written almost in phonetic Scottish, and I used to sit and listen and listen and listen, and eventually learned to recognise some of the words, and lo and behold, that's how I learned to read.
My parents didn't have their own home. It was, you always lodged with your parents. The house would be split into 2. One family would live upstairs, one family would live downstairs. There was a parlour and a back room. One family would have the parlour and the other had the back room. We always had an outside toilet, no inside toilet, no bathroom. Big bath night on Sundays, all one after the other. And cleanest went in first. We all followed suit, and it just came topped up, a tin bath that. And then we used to have to, it was heavy when you'd done, because back we'd keep topping the water up, it went heavier and heavier with more water, so that we all had to help to pull it out to the back door to empty it down the yard. And when we'd emptied it down the yard, my mum used to have a big stiff brush that she'd clean the yard as well. So like all that water, it was like conservation of water really. That you use the same water over and over again for different things.
I was 14 and a half when I started in the cotton mill, and I began in the winding room, and it was very noisy, but very heavy work and very dirty because of course there was a lot of cotton flying around. But goodness gracious me, what companions we were. We used to work together, and we never stopped for a break, and we didn't really have a lunch because we were on piecework. So I think I used to earn 12 and 6, and it used to take me 2 days to earn 12 shillings and 6pence. And what we used to do, because it was such boring work, was that we all used to sing. And we used to sing so well and so loud. We were better than any choir you've ever listened to. And we used to sing until we filled this great, huge room, this dark, overbearing, dense really, because there was no air, no fresh air. So it was very, very heavy to be there. But we used to sing and sing and sing and sing till the whole room was vibrating, not with the sound of the machinery, but with She'll Be Coming Round the Mountain and Down at the Old Bull and Bush, and many, many songs we used to sing. And it was a wonderful way to be.
Something that really just suddenly triggered in my memory was in the 60s exhibition was the portable radios, which was a big thing, I think, when I was in the 60s when I was young. And they came out, the portable radios, and we had a spate of taking them to school and playing them in the dinner hour around the back of the school. Radio Caroline was out then, had just come out, and that was a big thing.
Nice space lolly with 3 fruit flavour steak.
I remember the day that we landed on the moon, so the Americans landed on the moon, because it was the one and only day that I've also been stung by a wasp. I remember putting my hand on the wasp, and so that's another reason to remember that day, as well as the fact that Armstrong stood on the moon. I remember that when I was going around and saw the toys in the museum.
I think something that triggered a particular memory was looking in the shop from the 1970s. It reminded me of the shop in the little village where I used to live, and it was an old type of shop with a counter and the old guy behind it. And you used to have to ask him, he'd go and fetch the things off the shelves for you. And I can remember the day it changed round and became self-service, and it was a really big thing in the village, and people were really excited because it was like a new electronic till. And this guy, what's called Harry Lymm, he retired and passed it on to his son. It was like the real modern thing. That must have been, I don't know, the late 70s, I suppose.
I've just been looking in the old supermarkets and I've seen old boxes of ice creams, old ice creams. It just reminded me of the days when I was little. I was 8 to 10. My father used to send me up to the local sweet shop to get these blocks of ice cream. There was Wars Pineapple Royale, which was one of our favourites, and a block of pink and white checkered ice cream, which we always used to have on a Sunday tea time.
I had a chopper as a kid with a bike, and it got stolen. I always remember that, like when it got stolen, in the handlebar of the chopper, my dad put a piece of paper in and wrote my name on it, slid it in and put the plastic cover back over the handle. And then I found it a couple of years later, some kid had got it and he painted it black. And I took the handle off and I went, look, and I showed him the piece of paper and it was my bike. I just remembered that when I saw that.
When we were 16, 17 and just getting to know each other, my husband to-be lived in Nottingham and I lived near Liverpool, and he came across to visit. Now, he had these fantastic platform shoes. Because he was so short, he had to have these, so he was as tall as me. And at the beginning of this relationship, when we're, as I say, just getting to know each other, we went out for the day, came to stay with us, went out for the day, had a lovely day, you know, you're beginning to fall in love and it's all happening. And we arrived back home and went into the lounge. Now, we had a hamster at the time, and this hamster was used to running round the lounge. It would get right up by the skirting board and zoom round and round the lounge. Unbeknown to my husband, when we got in, my mum had got this hamster running around the lounge. So David walks in his platform shoes and thinks he's treading on a cushion. Well, there you go. There was the hamster on the floor, squashed. And after that, all these platform shoes were called hamster crushers.
Grange Hill I used to watch when I was a kid. I used to watch some of the things like Rhubarb and Custard. That was a good cartoon. What other cartoons have you watched? Mr. Ben, that was a good one. The Clangers, that was my favourite one as well. The Clangers was very good. Other shows, Blue Peter, I always watched Blue Peter. Never watched Magpie, I always used to watch Blue Peter. Saturday Swap Shop, I used to watch that as well. And Not His Was.
Hello, my name is Anna and I collect Beanie Babies, and I won a competition at McDonald's, and now I've got 24 because I've been collecting them for about 2 years now. And some of the names are, well, my best one is called Chili, and it's a polar bear. And she's all fleecy, and I go to sleep with her.
I was born in 1905 and I won a prize at school for skipping, and I got a voucher for a shilling, 1 shilling, that was 12 pennies. And I took it to Walter Wilson's in Thornley Village, and I got all sorts of things for that shilling. There was soap powder for my mother for the washing, there was a bar of soap, there was margarine, in fact there was a little bit of butter as well, I think it was 2 ounces you got, a packet of sugar and some sweets for myself, all for a shilling. It was wonderful. Oh, such a lot of memories. Oh, such a lot of memories. Oh, such a lot of memories.